I'm Jen Royle with the Boston Herald, and welcome to another edition of Talk of the Town, sponsored by Sports World of Peabody, New England's largest sports memorabilia store. So I don't know if you can tell, but I'm freezing here at Fenway Park. This is the most unconventional baseball weather, but I'm getting ready to talk to manager Joe Maddon of the Tampa Bay Rays, one of the most respected and classiest managers in baseball, and he's also a lover of our city of Boston. First, Joe, welcome to Boston. I know how much you love it here, but question, does it feel different this year? I know that you already have a special place in your heart for this city, but given what we've all gone through here in Boston, is it nice to be back here, and do you feel a little bit different about our city?
Well, I mean, of course, what we went through last year was kind of difficult. That was, and to be reminded about it again this year, we were on the road somewhere, and all the stuff came out about the marathon the previous year and how that all came down. And then when you really read into the stories and listen to the people that were affected and how it impacted the lives, it was pretty difficult. So the way the city rallied around everything and came through, and the way the rest of the country did, it's pretty impressive. But it's you're always. I was looking out my window today at the hotel, and I was looking right over into that square right there. So it's pretty powerful.
Right, I know that you love visiting here. I know the restaurant that you go to. I know sometimes you pack your bike and you ride up and down Stero Drive. Talk a little bit about why you love Boston, why you love coming here.
I got very European vibe to it. I've always loved the European vibe to Boston. Whenever I get a chance to go visit Europe in the wintertime, I love to do that. Just driving down asymmetrical streets, the old buildings, the history within the city itself, the variety, the eclectic nature of the whole town. All of that stuff is really very cool. The culture, the education, universities, the kids, all that stuff. All that stuff matters. So back in the day when I interviewed for the job here, I think it was 2003 or 4, I envisioned living in a brownstone somewhere right around here, and I thought that'd be kind of neat to manage the Red Sox at that time, and then be able to walk around the city after the game and get absorbed into the culture of the entire place. So it's a unique city within our country, and because of those reasons, I really have enjoyed Boston.
Well, we did win the World Series in '04, but if we didn't, I would have said it was our loss to not have you here.
Tito was great. I was a big Tito. Tito was great. I really thought at that time the Red Sox had made the right choice.
All right, I want to talk about the one thing you and I have in common. I'm sure we have a lot more in common, but our Bulldogs. You have Winston Churchill, I have Truman Capote, and you have a new one.
I didn't know it was Truman Capote.
Truman Capote Royle. He's hyphenated.
Nice. Yeah, we have Winston Churchill Maddon the first, and now we have Clementine Churchill Maddon. Clementine. We want Winston Churchill's wife's name was Clementine, so we got the little. She was 8 weeks old, born on my birthday. How about that? Clementine's born on my birthday. She's been fabulous. Easy dog to break in so far. Winnie really gets along with her well. It's been a lot of fun. I've been on the road like 3 or 4 days. I already miss her, and I'm getting photographs. She's growing right before my very eyes. So Bulldogs are a great breed. They're a lot of fun, as you know. They're really warm and wonderful and funny dogs.
I know. I saw David Price in the clubhouse, and instead of him asking how I was, he looked at me. He said, "How's Truman?"
There you go. Yeah, his Astro is outstanding. Yeah, it's tremendous. Absolutely.
Exactly. Well, probably 6 or 7 years ago, you and I had a conversation at Yankee Stadium, and you talked to me about the importance of having fun playing baseball and having a good attitude every day coming to the ballpark, whether you're winning or losing. 9th season here with Tampa Bay, winning percentage .525. How much has that attitude played a role in this team winning? And don't be humble. I know how humble you are.
Well, I mean, it played the part that really, like the other night, for instance, in Chicago, we lost the game in the 9th inning. It really kind of a bad, devastating feeling, kind of a loss, but won the next night 4-0. And I think that's the difference, or that's the meaning of what you're talking about, where we don't carry losses for more than 30 minutes. I don't want the guys to show up the next day lamenting about the previous day. Throw it in the garbage can, move it along. How many times in the past I was on teams that if you had a bad game or a bad couple games, you walk in the clubhouse and God, you thought the world was going to end. And it's a baseball game. Understand that it's a baseball game. So I think if you approach it with the right attitude on a daily basis and understand how to process the day and all this information and come out with the passion in your heart, you could really minimize these windows of failure and maximize the windows of prosperity.
All right. Well, you're the first person to say you haven't done it alone. I'm going to throw some names out at you. B.J. Upton, Carl Crawford, Matt Garza, James Shields, Carlos Pena, Scott Kazmir. These are superstars that have left your organization, and you are still competing every year for a World Series. What does that say about the job Matt Silverman and Andrew Friedman have done?
That's it. I mean, we have great scouting. We have great front office people. We take a lot of time on an annual basis to do like the under the hood kind of research. We have to unearth the kind of a player that we can afford that nobody else is really looking at. It's getting more difficult because a lot of people are utilizing our methods more and more on an annual basis. I think it's part of what you see with the parity within the league right now, the fact that we can't run and hide. We just can't do our thing without being unearthed. So these guys do a wonderful job, and a huge part of our success is what goes on behind the scenes that nobody can see. And it really starts with the top, our ownership, Stu Sternberg, and then Matt Silverman, and then Andrew, and all the guys upstairs. They're fabulous.
All right, speaking about players that are too expensive to retain, how much did you appreciate what Evan Longoria did, staying here and wanting to finish his career with Tampa Bay?
It's pretty impressive. To finally get that one guy that wanted to lock in was really important to us as an organization. It's unusual, in baseball in general today and these days, but I think that speaks to what I just talked about: ownership and front office, and really enjoying or liking the culture, the environment. All those things matter. The city, the Tampa Bay region, all that stuff has to play a factor in that decision. But being able to have Longo hooked up for that many years to come, and hopefully get a couple more guys to jump on board. I think obviously the economic situation regarding a new ballpark or not could really play prominently in whether that's going to happen or not. And truthfully, if we are able to really secure a legitimate ballpark in the Tampa Bay area, that would really permit us to sign some of these guys long term.
And I know you're hoping David Price does the same thing as Evan.
I mean, obviously David is huge. Big part of what we do here. He's a very entertaining, talented left-hander, and it would be it's great to have him back this year.
All right, last question. You talked about turning the page and not thinking about the night before for more than 30 minutes. This championship Red Sox team, that was last year, and they've turned the page. What are your thoughts on this 2014 Red Sox team?
Well, I saw them a little bit in spring training. When we play them in camp, they normally don't reveal all of everything. I like Bogarts. I think he's a really interesting player. He's a tremendous talent. They made Brzezinski's, gives him a different kind of an attitude behind the plate. Uhara being injured right now really definitely puts a crimp on the bullpen. But they got a lot of the proverbial gamers. I'm a big John Gomes, Mike Napoli, Victorino. I'm a fan, and Ross. See, those are the kind of guys the sabermetrician sometimes can overlook. These guys are the kind of guys that play baseball with a lot of heart, and beyond that, besides that, what they do in the clubhouse is extraordinary, and I'm very much aware of that, and as you are too, because you got a little more information on the inside. But that's the kind of guy that really, that's what set them apart last year. You could talk about all the wonderful years some of the other people had, but the heart and soul that those people brought to this group was really what set them apart.
It was all in the beards.
And the beards. I can't do one. I mean, I've been light-haired, faced.
Dark-haired.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done it. It's turned white a long time ago. So anyway, yeah, the beard was kind of cool. I always like that kind of stuff. So anytime you could get this galvanizing, whatever it may be, that brings like an entire city together, that's pretty neat.
And that'll do it for this week's edition of Talk of the Town. Log on to bostonherald.com every Thursday to see which athlete, and not necessarily from Boston, we will be highlighting next.